Hello everyone, and welcome back for your weekly energy forecast and oracle reading. So let's see what this week holds, because last week was a humdinger of note. I don't know about you, but last week is not really a week I'd like to repeat. But lots of lessons learned, lots of realizations, lots of aha moments. And speaking to a lot of my clients, through last week, we were all feeling it on some level, but it feels like the energy is a bit lighter this week. It's like we're a little bit more, I want to say clean and clear. It's like a slate has been cleared. It's like we've been scrubbed clean with a scrubbing brush, and now we get to move forward more clear, of who we really are and what we really want. Okay, so let's get right into it. Let's have a look. Let's pull a tarot card just to see what energetic weather is here for the beginning of this week. What do we have? We have the Two of Pentacles. Now, if you look at this man, he's like juggling these two pentacles in his hand, and he's walking on water, might I add. Okay, so this card speaks about being flexible in the beginning of this week. I'm also hearing juggling priorities, like figuring out what is really important to us. That's what last week would have taught us. What is really important to us? What do we need to get done? What do we need to prioritize? So you might find at the beginning of this week that you are looking at your life differently and clearly seeing what is a priority and what isn't. So the beginning of the week, focus on what's important. What are your priorities? What is really important now for you to get you from point A to point B on your journey and going forward now? And also just being flexible, just going with the flow. They're saying now is not a time for us to be rigid. So in other words, we mustn't have a set idea that things need to go this way or they need to go that way. We need to just really go with the flow, because they bring my attention to the water here. So in the beginning, the water might be a bit emotions, okay? Our emotions and the water might be a little bit choppy in the beginning of the week, but we can rise above it if we're flexible, okay? Now notice the stormy clouds, it's not the greatest of weather, but there's this rainbow there. So in other words, it's like, I get the sense that in the beginning of the week, it's like we're choosing. Are we going to choose to be rigid and life must only be like this, or are we going to rise above it, okay, and choose to see the bright side of life? It reminds me of that song, always look on the bright side of life. You know that one? It reminds me of that. So it's like no matter what's going on, there's a rainbow at the end of all this, okay? So let's rise above it. Let's prioritize what's important, what's not, and just get through it. Prioritize. Be flexible. Okay, interesting start to the week. I'm also hearing have a little bit more fun. Be a little bit more playful, right? Easier said than done. But anywho, no, they're saying it is easier said than... No, it is done easier than what it said, because it's a choice. We need to make choices in the beginning of the week. What are we doing, right? Okay, what do we have in the beginning of the week that's going to really help? You can't make this shit up. Flexible. Be flexible. I'm going to read out the message of this. Where is the thingamabob? What is the message of flexible? It says, a tree's roots are solidly planted in the ground, yet its branches can bend in a hurricane, whereas a rigid structure like a building would come crashing down. Consider how the tree remains supple and secure when everything around it may be in shambles. This is how you need to be now. Willing to learn new things, be teachable, be malleable, yet firmly grounded in who you are. Common sense is important, but so is an open mind. Stay curious, stay open, stay aware. At this time, others will be more flexible with you too. Okay? Now, when they said something about a storm there in the beginning, it just brought my awareness back to this. Okay? So you might feel like there's a storm around you, but this is a choice. You can juggle everything you need to do. You can handle it all. You can choose to be in the rainbow and the happy days, and you can rise above the water, right? So holding true, being grounded in who you are, but also being flexible, going with the flow a little bit. All right, let's get some further elaboration from the angels and ancestors now for the beginning of the week. We have Lady, enjoy growth and reap rewards. Now, this card speaks to me about fertility, growth, abundance, right? So that means in the beginning of this week, if we're flexible, if we really prioritize and focus on what we need to get done, and we're flexible about it, we will see results quite quickly, because they show, yes, last week was indeed tumultuous, but if we put into practice what we learned last week, and even a week to two before that, when there was the first eclipse on April, I think it was the 20th. I'm not good with dates. Anyway, but this whole eclipse season has taught us a lot. It's brought our awareness to a lot of things. So as we put that into practice and prioritize, we will see the results and the rewards of our effort. Okay. All right. What energy is here for the middle of the week? What energy is here for the middle of the week, please? Let's see. We have the, oh, I love this, the Emperor. Okay, this man, if you look at him, he's standing quite tall and secure in who he is. He's standing on what looks like a bridge above his empire. I'm hearing rising like the phoenix. Now, I have my glasses on so I can see, but doesn't this look like fire? It looks like he's coming out of the fire, like he's rising from the ashes, right? So in the middle of the week, you might find yourself feeling a lot more like, I've got this, I can do this. I'm standing in my power. I'm getting things done. I'm in charge of me again. I'm in charge of my world again. I know what I need to do to get done. And I'm now building firm foundations for myself in the process. Okay. What also sticks out, what are these scrolls? Knowledge. Okay. Using the knowledge, the aha moments that you would have recently had, okay, about where you're at in your life, using that knowledge and putting it to work for you. I'm getting a work feel with this. So in the middle of the week, there might be offers of employment or going into partnership if you're in a business or if you want to start a business. But I'm hearing the word negotiations, okay? So that's good news for you if this is what you're wanting to bring into your world, okay? But in general, this is about self-empowerment, rising from the ashes, stronger and taller and bigger than what you've ever been before. That's amazing. All right, empowerment. Okay, let's get some further elaboration from the wisdom of the oracle now for the middle of the week. Blessed. So this speaks about in the middle of the week really counting your blessings. You may also be the recipient of blessings. They're saying if you choose this, the rainbow and the abundance amongst the tumultuous storm, okay? Because I'm hearing pick your reality, okay? You've just been shown the underworld, okay? Your shadow, your dark side throughout the eclipse season. You've just seen the parts of you that you don't always like. So there would have been ancestral healing, healing of old patterns, old wounds coming to the surface. You would have really seen all of that. Now, not nice, was it? Okay, for me it wasn't. Okay, now we get to choose. Do we want to stay in that old reality and keep repeating the same patterns over and over? Or do we want to choose this, the rainbow, the pot of gold at the end? Do we want to, which reality do we want? Because if you pick the reality that feels blessed, like, okay, I had those experiences, maybe something awful happened, maybe you lost your job, maybe you lost a partner, maybe you lost your home, whatever. Now we can really justifiably cry about it, or we can see the blessing, because I'm hearing the word, a lot of us are being redirected, or have been redirected to who we're supposed to be, to our potential, to where we should be, to what we should have in our world. So if you pick the always look on the bright side of life, if you pick your reality of I'm actually blessed, I'm grateful for all that I've been through, you'll experience more of this. I'm hearing pick your reality. The duality at the moment is very loud. It's like I've been saying for a while, the veil between the worlds is so thin. the veil between the 3D, the 5D, the veil between what is seen and what is not is becoming thinner and thinner. So it's becoming easier and easier to choose where we want to be. Do we want to be in life is awful, woe is me, or do we want to choose the what's the word I'm looking for? The reality of all is well. Everything's always working out for me. Life is always going in my favor. Everything is always going to be okay. Let me count the blessings that I do have. Which side are we going to pick? Because whatever side we pick, we're going to experience more of that, right? Very interesting. Okay, let's get some elaboration now from the angels and ancestors for the middle of the week. Follow the voice of your soul. Star ancestor. Follow the voice of your soul. Let's read that out. This is about being true to you. Oh, what I'm hearing here loudly is the stories, the duality we've been living in. The ain't it awful, everything goes wrong in my life, I'm a victim, all that. That's not even your story. Okay, I'm hearing that's not even your story. That's your ancestral story. Maybe that's what you've learned through the generations in your family. Maybe that is what society conditioned you to believe. It's not even your story. Okay, change the story. Okay, this card says there's a deeper purpose to your human journey. Not only were you born on purpose, you were born for a purpose. You were born to be a bright light in the world, and there are supporters out there in the universe sending waves of energy to guide you at this time. Information and inspiration that has been coming your way recently is not new information, but memories. Your feelings of being drawn in a particular direction are the awakening of an aspect of your soul. You're being drawn towards a road that will not only light you up, but also help you light up your corner of the world. Continue following the cosmic guidance that is coming your way. Okay? So in other words, your soul, your inner being is really guiding you in the middle of the week. Your inner being knows exactly what you want and need, and it has no fear. So pay attention once again to your intuition in the middle of the week, because it'll show you exactly, or it'll guide you as to exactly what to do, where to go, what to say. Okay? Brilliant. Okay. Let's see, what weather do we have here for Friday and the weekend? What energetic influence is here on Friday and the weekend? The Queen of Swords. Now, the Queen of Swords is always very cool, calm, and collected. Nothing stresses her out. She's very logical. She's very strategic. She even has a great sense of humor. Okay? So Friday and the weekend, I just heard cool your jets. So she's cool, calm, and collected. So Friday and the weekend, whatever is coming up for you, whatever arises, whatever you experience, take a step back, look at the situation logically, cool your jets, because I'm getting a lot of fiery influence come the weekend. So there must be something cooking with Mars, I'm sure. Okay, anyway. But yeah, it doesn't matter. What matters is how we respond and how we learn. So whatever comes up for you, remember what you've just learned over the last while about yourself and about how you respond to life. Now you get to put that into action. Okay, be logical, right? Be calm. Even have a bit of a sense of humor. Lighten up. Don't take yourself and everybody else so seriously. All right, interesting. Okay, let's see now. What do we have from the wisdom of the oracle for Friday and the weekend? Let me try not to drop them all over the place. Okay, what do we have for Friday and the weekend, please? Not for you. Not for you. So this is about being discerning, okay? Like Auntie Queen of Swords here, okay? Logical, right? Very clear lady, very objective, doesn't take life incredibly seriously, right? So she's going to be very discerning. In other words, we're being encouraged to be discerning about what is for us and what is not for us. It's going to become so clear. It's like there's going to be no ambiguity. So in other words, maybe before eclipse season, It was easy for us to get torn between, well, maybe I do want this, or maybe I don't want that. I don't know, that vibe. Now we're going to be clear. Now it's going to be, no, that's not for me. I don't want that. I would rather choose something else, or I would rather choose to respond in a different way, or whatever the case is. But it's going to be so easy to be discerning and to be very clear about what we're seeing around us. Okay, let's get another card just because we can. Elaborate on the not for you, please. Never ending story. Here it is, okay? The same story that we've been telling ourselves and what society's been telling ourselves and what our families have been telling us for years, for our entire lives, for generations. That same story on repeat. It's going to be much easier to catch ourselves now, okay? So as we're communicating with others over the weekend, or we hear something, or we get some news, or there's some sort of information, it's going to trigger this. It's going to trigger the, here we go again. Everything bad always happens to me. This ain't it awful, all that sort of thing. But we're going to be discerning and say, no, that's not for me, actually. No, thank you. I would rather think this way, or experience life this way, or choose the rainbow, seeing the rainbow in the storm, if that makes any sense, okay? So our stories will be triggered, but it's just a trigger. It's not real. That's the thing. Beautiful saying coined by Dr. Gabor Mate. When we respond to things, I love this. If it's hysterical, it's historical. Let that sink in for a moment. Okay? When we respond hysterically to something, that's not the reality we're responding to. It's a trigger from the past. We're feeling triggered, that swallowed trauma, that hurt and that pain has been, we've swallowed it and we've pushed it down, and it takes a trigger, and then what? It all comes up, and the response is quite hysterical. Okay, we get anxious, upset, angry, and that's only because it's historical. It's based on the past. Okay, it's not even real, right? Okay, let's get some further elaboration from the angels and the ancestors for Friday and the weekend. We have Mother Earth, feel loved and comforted. Isn't that beautiful? How nourishing is that? Please notice the feminine energy we have this week. We have the lady on Monday and Tuesday, right? Giving us reward. We're experiencing a little bit more abundance. Life is starting to feel a lot more nourishing. We're seeing some nice results as a result of being flexible and choosing our reality. We're choosing the positive, uplifting reality, not so much the negative reality. And then on Friday and the weekend, we have the Queen of Swords, and then we have Mother Earth. All this feminine, nourishing energy. Now, please understand, feminine energy is not limited to women, okay? Men and women both have feminine energy and masculine energy, okay? So if you're a man, this will apply to you as well, in a sense where maybe come the weekend, you might feel a little bit more in touch with how you really feel, right? So yes, being logical and seeing the bigger picture, but also trusting the way that you feel in order for that to guide you, okay? Intuition and feeling is not limited to women. It's both, okay? That's the beauty of duality. Okay, so we have Mother Earth, feel loved and comforted. It is safe. We are safe. All right, let us read this message out. Let's find it. Total shift in energy this week, completely different energy. Okay, this card says, you may have felt overwhelmed or out of control emotionally recently, which is this Friday and the weekend. Okay, never ending story. Sorry, I got lost. Let me start again. It says, you may have felt overwhelmed or out of control emotionally recently, but you are now moving back to your natural center, and that will bring you to a place of clarity and openness. If you have felt ungrounded, know that Mother Earth is here to root you and help you regain your sense of strength. You may not feel like a child, but in the eyes of the divine, you're a child of light, and it's important you know that and feel loved. If you've had challenges with your mother or being a mother yourself, Know that the energies of Mother Healing are with you to help clear any ancestral blockages that are preventing you from making this sacred love connection. You are being guided to make choices that are based on love. Look at that. This is all usually childhood stuff. It can also be past life stuff. But I feel like this is yet another layer of our stuff coming to the surface on the weekend. Okay? You get to be discerning. I'm not going to choose that anymore. I've learned a lot about myself. I'm going to respond differently. I'm not going to be hysterical about it because that's historical. I'm now choosing to respond differently, which helps me to feel loved and comforted and well provided for. Isn't that beautiful? So it looks like this week is a complete turnaround. Now, on that note, they're saying because last week was so intense, we were all confronted with big scrubbing brushes and stripped bare of all sorts of beliefs and negative patterns that no longer served us. This week it does feel like we're a little bit fragile, okay? It's, again, I always use a snake analogy, but once a snake has shed its skin, it's very vulnerable. So it needs to kind of hide a little bit. So see this week if you can take a bit of time out to kind of hide so that you can kind of let your new skin dry, okay? That's why we're going to be so easily triggered this week, okay, because we're still a bit fragile. All right, let's have a look. Let's finish this reading off with a card or two from the Gateway of Light Activation. It'll just help us sum up this week and give us further insight and further guidance as to how we can make the most of this week. What do we have? This one. Okay, we need another. It's like these messages from this deck get louder every week. Okay, what do we have? The first one we have, it says the halls of Amenti initiation, secrets revealed, treasures uncovered, initiations. Okay, let's read out its message. Oh, I love this deck. Okay, let's find it. Okay, it says, sorry, a bit slow today. It says, you're in a deep initiatory chamber at this time. You might feel like things are heavy and challenging, but know that a reconfiguration is happening. Energetically, you are going through an initiation that will allow you to go beyond the fears of the ego and transcend the limitations of the physical realm. You might not feel like light is present because you're in the middle of this phase at the moment, but know that it is present within you. You might be feeling frustrated or overwhelmed, but a lot of this anxiety is actually old energy that was stored in the depths of your body being released so that your vibration can rise. How many more times must that message come through to make it clear? It's like we're purging, we're getting rid of. We did a lot of it. We did it in bulk last week, and it feels like we're going to let a bit more of it go this week, which is wonderful. Okay, now let's see. The next one that came up, I can never pronounce this, Shambhala initiations, retreating to recharge, trusting in the process, Dharma. How majestic is the artwork of this? Okay, let's see. What do we have? Shambhala initiation. Let's read this out. Where are you? Okay. This message says, when things quieten down in your life, know that this isn't a failure, but an opportunity to retreat and recharge. In the busyness of the physical world, our spirit is often playing catch up with our body to the point that it gets used to being overactive and overworked. When the great masters of Shambhala come to you, they're encouraging you to take time away from the outer world and dive into the inner world. If you've been moving full speed ahead, this gateway encourages you to slow down and retreat. Take time to gather your energy. Spend time in meditation and reflection in order to gain a clearer awareness of your current situation. You will uncover many insights and gifts during this period. Realize there is a master awakening within. Okay? How amazing. All right. Let's see what else Spirit wants to add to this. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about that self-mastery, because that is the whole point of being human in this incarnation on this planet at this time, actually, is to master ourselves and master the use of energy, okay? And how we manipulate and use energy is through our thoughts and intention alone, right? And it feels to me, and I've been feeling this now for a while, and it came up so strongly last week, is the contrast, right? The contrast between who we want to be, where we want to go, the things we want to experience, the life that we desire. There's been a huge contrast between that and who we've been conditioned to be. It's not the same. And last week and continuing into this week, it's lighter this week, okay? But that contrast has been made so loud and clear to us so that we can choose and we can be discerning about, where do I want to live? Do I want to carry on the way I've always been, who I've always been, and keep experiencing the same? Or do I want to now move forward and step into the fullness of who I am and into the mastery of self and take accountability for who I've become and who I'm choosing to still become, so that I can create the reality and create the life and create the future that I desire? Because let's be fair, okay? We're never going to get there, okay? What I mean is, like, now let's say you want a new job, okay? You get a new job tomorrow. Yay, you made it, you got a new job, amazing. It doesn't mean it's your last job, okay? Because you'll be in that job for a while and then you're going to want to grow. Then you're going to want more. You're going to want to be promoted or get a new job or start a business of your own. We're never going to get there. Does that make sense? It's like life is a whole series of nows. Okay, in the now moment, we want this new job. We got the new job. Now we're in the new job. Hooray. Okay, now I want a new job a year later. We're always going to be wanting. We're always going to be desiring. And that is being human. Okay, it's human to desire the next level, to desire more, to desire a better life. And in order to do that, we need hellishingly strong self-mastery to do that. Otherwise, we get stuck on the hamster wheel of never really getting anywhere, never really reaching our full potential. So that's why it feels like now more than ever, it's like we've been hammered so much. It's because life is saying, hey, see that over there? That thing you want, that reality, that life, you want that reality? Awesome. Now get your shit together and sort out your limitations. That's why this is such a tough journey. It's contrast. It's who we are and what we've been experiencing compared to what we really want. That contrast, you see. So this week it feels like we are now actually able to choose. This week we get to decide, are we going to think the same old way, do the same old thing, and therefore live the same old life and complain and be miserable forever? Or are we going to create a whole brand new beginning because we've realized, hey, we are actually the emperor in our lives and we actually do have power and we can make choices and we can choose the good stuff despite the bad stuff. We can rise above it. What are we going to choose? I'm just hearing choose, decide. Choose your reality. Okay. So I hope sorry, I was waffling there. So Spirit like to go on and on. So I hope that has helped. And I wish you all an amazing, happy, abundant, prosperous, easy week. Okay. Sending you all so much love. Thank you for being here and have a good week.